Hello YouTube family, thank you for joining me today. I am going to decoupage some seashells in this video. I have a couple of them done here already. This one I used a printed paper that is 110 GSM and which works as you can see, and I used matte Mod Podge on this one. This one I have here is gloss, but this one is matte, and I used this pen right here, gold pen, to draw the edges, and this one I did the same thing, printed paper, but what I realized is that you can't really use every printed paper to decoupage. You have to be selective about what prints to use, and this is a perfect example how I use this like bright contrast colored paper, and then just kind of big fold in the middle kind of makes it look not so pretty. So I learned my lesson here not to do that. I do like a busy pattern, not so contrasting but nice busy pattern to work with. And then here I used napkin. This one is from Home Goods. They have a really good selection of napkins there. This print is a napkin that I used, and I used gloss, this one right here, to put on it. And I think the print works pretty well because it is busy, and you can see all the creases, but it kind of goes well with the print. And then I obviously use the same pen to color around the edges to make it look nice and pretty. So this is what we're gonna do in this video, and let's get started. So I am going to use, I'm gonna use this shell right here, and I have 3 choices of napkins here, and because I don't paint on the bottom, so that's the other thing I need to pay attention to when I am picking up a napkin to use. Like this one right here will not work because it has a lot of white background, and then the blue from the shell is going to show. So I'm sort of debating between this one and this one because this will cover the blue nicely. And then this one has some blue on it too. Actually, I have another one here where I've already used this one as well, the hydrangeas. I love hydrangeas, by the way. But we're gonna do the edges around. I'll show you how to clean the edges and paint when we get to that part. But let's start with first putting the napkin on the shell because that is the hardest part. I am sort of leaning towards this one here. So let's use this paper. And then you of course need some scissors. So what I'm going to do, the first thing is I am going to lay my paper down. I am not going to use this part that has like the lines, straight lines, because when that kind of goes on the shell, because the shells have all the creases and curves, the lines will not look really nice. So I kind of like to stay away from that side, and I'm gonna lay it in one of these corners. Just to kind of see how much napkin I'm going to need. So once I set it there, I kind of give myself a little more napkin space and cut it. And then if you have a directional paper, you will kind of have to be mindful of that too. Like this one right here is a directional napkin, and so when you're cutting, you want to make sure that you're cutting this way. So it's just something to keep in mind if you're using directional paper. Okay, so we have our napkin ready to go. So I'm going to set this to the side, and I'm going to bring my Mod Podge. This is from Dollar Tree. It's $1.25 for 2 fluid ounce, and this is gloss finish. So I like to work right off the bottle there. Right now I'm just sort of brushing the Mod Podge over the shell, trying to cover all the nooks and crannies because we want to make sure that our napkin stays nice and flat. And the parts that I kind of miss mostly are the edges because the edges are all rugged. So I'm gonna make sure that you get into all the nooks and crannies. And these are the shells we picked up from one of our beach days. And this has been our new hobby to pick up shells when we go to the beaches. Okay, so my shell is nicely covered with the Mod Podge, and I'm gonna set my brush aside, and this is the trickiest part. So I'm going to set my napkin over the top like that, and then I'm going to hold it from the bottom. I'm going to take my pointer and just kind of press it down in the center, and then gently start pressing outwards so that you are not making the napkin lift up. So this process will take some time. So take your time, don't rush, and just go in nice and gentle. Now this part is harder to catch, so sometimes I like to use the tip of the back of my brush, and we have a little tear here. Okay. And then so yeah, I like to go in with the back of my brush and gently press everything down. And this is the other reason why I like a nice busy that is not linear design, because I had a little tear here, but you can't really see much. And then I'm gonna go back in with my fingers, pressing everything down nice and gentle and coming outwards. Then don't rush this part, just go nice and easy. You don't want anything bubbling or tearing. And then now I am going to cut the rest of the paper off. I'm just going to do a rough cut. I'm not going to focus too much on fixing it, because we're going to use a sandpaper and some smaller scissors to make a better edge. Clean it up so it's easier to see which part needs more attention once you have the extra napkin cut off. So like this part here, I feel like needs a little more Mod Podge, so that's what I'm doing. And I think the rest of them looks okay. And then now I am ready to put on the top coat. So I don't let it dry before I put on the top coat. I just go right in. So I'm just gonna get my brush in the Mod Podge and start putting on the top layer. Again, kind of starting from the center and gently brushing outwards. Okay, so I think I am done putting the top coat on this. I'm gonna let this dry, and I will show you guys what I have outside drying. So this one has been drying outside. It's nice and dry. So this is actually my favorite printed napkin. I was a little skeptical about using it because I was telling you guys that you want a busy pattern so that the creases won't see, and this one is not very busy, but I still wanted to use it. And it actually works okay, like as long as the actual flower doesn't have too much creasing on it. And then this particular shell is not like curved too much, like really sharp curves. So that's why I picked this particular shell for this paper or napkin. I keep wanting to say paper, but napkin. So yeah, if your shell is not too curved up, you can get away with like not so busy pattern like this one. But if it is, then you're better off using a busy pattern like this. So we are going to finish the edges on this one and color. So I go between cutting and sanding it down. I have a, let's see if I can, don't think this will. This is just a regular sander that I have on hand. I'm gonna start by first cutting. I'm gonna go in and try to cut as much as I can. Okay, so I have pretty much all the edges cut down as much as I can. Okay, so I'm going to take my sandpaper and I'm just going to run it at the edge so that it takes off the extra paper. Okay, so that is pretty much done. And so I'm going to just clean up my table and we are ready to, oh, I have a little spot there that I need to glue it down. Where was it? Even like this spot right here, I want to make sure that it sits down nicely. And where was that spot? Here. So now that needs to dry for a little bit. I'm gonna let that dry. And we're gonna start on this corner. You could just kind of skip that part because this will take some time to, painting takes some time as well, so, or drawing, or coloring. Okay, so I'm just gonna go on the top here and I'm gonna layer a thick wide area of this, and I'm pretty sure in the future I'll probably try like a paint and a brush instead, because this is kind of hard to get into like every corners and crevices, like this part here. I'm gonna kind of paint a little bit or color a little bit on the shells, the back side too, because it's kind of thin. The edges are kind of thin, so there's not a whole lot of room to color onto the edges, so I'm kind of going on the edges this way too. Coloring around. I just have this little spot here to dry up. Okay, so it's dry now and I am ready to go over it. And this one is complete. Just checking to make sure I got everything. And there we go, that one is all done. And I think it turned out pretty good. What do you guys think? I hope you like this video, and I will see you on my next one. Bye for now.